and on and on, on. Dallas Sports Talk Radio, and on. Dallas Sports Talk Radio, we're on and on. Get your head in the game. Talks great across the 50 states. Plug in the microphone. Somebody turn us up. Talks great across the 50 states. Plug in the microphone. Dallas Sports Talk Radio. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us as we begin the first episode. DSTR, fastest growing sports talk news, weather, traffic broadcast in the metropolitan area. Always local, always live, every day, Monday through Friday, between 9 and 3, here on YouTube channel at Dallas Sports Talk Radio. #1 metropolitan sports talk news team dedicated to local superstars from the Metroplex. There is no debate. If you like it, we watch it. If you missed it, we will talk about it. Connect with us on social media platforms. Do not forget to leave us a comment telling us who you are and where you come from. Make sure you subscribe. We want you to engage and also like. Once we receive your notification, we will subscribe and comment back. DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. This is how we start. Hour number 1. It's the weekend, baby, baby. Today is Thursday, the 30th of January, 2025. There's a wet start to the morning, so be careful out there. The reports from the Metropolitan Sports Talk News team: scattered showers, ponding, and flash flood potentials in the Metroplex. When we caught the light rail out this morning at the corner Keystone South Lancaster Studios, the rain was coming down fairly light to medium. So if you're driving in, we have an update on our AM drive time ride report, giving you a heads up to all of the weather conditions out there. You could go on our YouTube channel at Dallas Sports Talk Radio, click on the community tab, and that way you'll be able to get an update before you head out every morning. We try to have that updated to all the potential hazards in Dallas County and Tarrant County. At 0940, hashtag what's the haps. In NFL news, the Super Bowl matchup has been set, and it is straight up Texas. Patrick Mahomes II going for his 3rd consecutive Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts out of Channelview, Texas, in his 2nd Super Bowl within the last 3 seasons, trying to get his 1st. So it's a straight up Texas Super Bowl. But the owner that had the headlines this past week was none other than Mr. Jerry Jones up at the Star in Frisco. So we were telling everybody yesterday that it's masterful how Jerry Jones has been able to, 30 years, show up every year and have everyone talking about the Cowboys. You have to stay in front of the national news cycle, and Jerry Jones has been able to do that. You want to talk about a coach going into his last year of his contract. That started in 2024. You let the man go in 2025. You hire his offensive consultant as your new head coach. That's a news cycle. And then you do that right after the NFL championship game, so you can let everybody know that the only who knows who the owner is of the Philadelphia Eagles. You'll think it's Jerry Jones. You see Jerry Jones more than you see Laurie. We don't even know the man's first name. We just know his last name, Laurie. That's how irrelevant the Philadelphia Eagles have been as far as football is concerned, especially in the NFC East. So they're like a startup. They're a franchise that's been around for as long as the Dallas Cowboys. They don't have nearly as many NFC East championship rings as the Dallas Cowboys. Nowhere near as many Super Bowl berths as the Dallas Cowboys. And nowhere near the amount of Super Bowl rings as the Dallas Cowboys. So when everyone's sitting up here talking about we want teams like Philadelphia go to the NFC East championship game, we want everybody trying to be like you. You can't try to take your history away and say, I'm going to start over because these bums are finally learning how to win consistently. There's a difference between being an established winner, being there consistently every year, versus 10 years ago, we didn't know who the Philadelphia Eagles were. Then you go back 10 years prior to that, and Donovan McNabb was there trying to do his thing. He made it to the Super Bowl once. Didn't win it because he was bickering with the wide receiver because everybody in the world was telling him his wide receiver was a disruptor. Listening to a writer, Skip Bayless, trashing the Terrell Owens based upon how he felt personally, had nothing to do with how the man performed on the football field. And Skip Bayless was the downfall of sports talk radio. That's why Fox finally ran him out of there. We were so happy this man got kicked off TV. We were like, oh my goodness. Then he goes and starts his own podcast. So if we could do anything to keep that podcast from going, subscribe to our channel at Dallas Sports Talk Radio. Unsubscribe to Skip Bayless. Unsubscribe to Fox Speak, the facility. Unsubscribe. They already taking all the money on the cable deal. We can't watch a football game for free. We can't watch unless you got to get a Prime. This is how much greed is in the NFL. And that's what your sports talk radio should be talking about, how the teams take advantage of the poor people. We don't get an opportunity to watch the game because you got to have cable. Then in order to have cable, you got to have Wi-Fi. In order to have Wi-Fi, you got to have the infrastructure in your home. And if the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball was really interested in investing in these communities that they asking for support in, instead of trying to run overseas, get the support here in the United States. Start an infrastructure. We know we have an aging infrastructure in the telecommunications department. Why isn't the NFL partnering with the telecommunications side? Say, okay, we've made billions and billions and billions and billions and billions for 100 years. But we can't stop now. We can't help the community who we want to support us, but they can't support us if they can't watch us. You try to watch a free game, an over-the-air game here in Dallas. Prime example is with KDAA or KFAA. Whatever the sub company is to FAA here in Dallas, when they tell you that you're going to be able to see Locked On Mavs, Mavs Insiders, then the Mavs game on channel 29.2, it doesn't show up. So then you go through the guide, you're looking for it again. It tells you it's going to come on 29.1. It doesn't show up. Then you happen to scroll through. They show you the re-air, but they show you the re-air and it doesn't show up on the guide that the re-air is available. So what are we really doing? Is anybody really watching the games? Are we so caught up in making all the money that we can't see the the forest for the trees. How is somebody supposed to support the product if they can't even watch the product? You're pricing the poor people out of watching live sports. Think about how ignorant it is in the United States that we have the NFL, the largest sports entertainment entity on the planet, can't even say, hey, let's go into the communities and help these people build their infrastructure. So what we showing you all these crazy camera angles from the Goodyear blimp or the Skycast. Someone can actually see it. Who can see it if you watching TV on Prime? Who can watch it? The middle class, the people that can barely pay mortgage. It's time for us to re-examine what's going on in the sports. Jerry Jones, want to be in the news? Haven't been in the Super Bowl in 30 years? Introducing a new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer. Congratulations, Brian. What are you going to do to make sure? Well, Jerry Jones already makes sure we get to see all his games for free. So maybe the rest of the NFL need to catch on to what Jerry Jones is doing and try to get us some broadcasts, some Mavs we get to watch all the time. You in the city, got all the major league teams. You can't even watch them on local TV. That's what we need to be talking about. The number to call, 888-637-7678. Subscribe, engage, like. Connect with us on social media platforms at Dallas Sports TA2 at 0940 #What's the Haps. The Super Bowl participants aren't the only ones down in NOLA. Mavs were down there trying to avenge that non-goaltending call that was missed last 2 weeks ago when the Mavs were down in New Orleans. Man, goaltend the ball at the end of the game. Mavs lose by 1 point. Didn't call it. J Kidd asked about it. How'd the game end? Well, if you were watching the game, it was too funny how J Kidd responded to the reporter. If you were watching the game, you would have seen with 5.5 seconds on the clock, Dinwiddie drive to the hole, man, goaltend the shot. But we're not going to talk about that. How do we lose the game? We just didn't make shots. That what you want to hear? The room got quiet. It was about time J Kidd tired of hearing these knucklehead reporters. They get you in there, ask you, how was the officiating? Man, you saw how the officiating was. Why you want to ask me something stupid like that, knowing that I can't say anything bad about the officials? That's your first question. You went to journalism school for 4 years just to come into and ask the head coach about the officiating, knowing that he can't talk about the officiating. You might as well ask me how the beer tastes. Did I get to eat a hot dog during the game? Idiot. Man, trips us out about these sports media people. The number to call, 888-637-7678 at 0940 #What's the Haps. Jason Kidd down in New Orleans playing the Pelicans. Called up here to Brian Schottenheimer and said, man, we down here in New Orleans and the NFL has got it going. Oh, I know you can't come down here yet, but hopefully this will be a little motivator. We had to come down here to avenge a non-call from 2 weeks ago. So hopefully, you know how New Orleans is and those non-calls. Hopefully, Brian Schottenheimer, you could be in the Super Bowl experiencing this next year. This J Kidd just calling in, man, telling you, welcome to the city. We want to see a Super Bowl. Not too much pressure. I'm already receiving pressure because they want me to go get a championship with old #Luka Doncic.